G'day, my name's Stuart. My friends call me Stuart. And I'm an environmentalist cartoonist. That's it, that's the main thing I do with myself. Now, the thing about being a self-employed freelance environmentalist cartoonist is you're never really sure whether you've got a profitable occupation or whether you've just got a really expensive hobby. And I've been thinking, why is it that I'm this environmentalist cartoonist? And I think it all has to do with a certain TV show that I used to watch in the 1990s called Captain Planet. Does anyone remember Captain Planet here? If you don't know Captain Planet was, it was about these 5 kids. They all had magic rings with special eco-superpowers. And I've been thinking about these Planeteers recently because I think that if I'd been one of the Planeteers, I don't think I would have been one of the ones with the awesome powers like earth, wind, fire, water. Instead, I'm pretty sure I would have been the wussbag who got stuck with the power of heart. Because pretty much that's what I do with myself all day. I just sit around and care about things. Like, oh, I'm going to do a blog post about recycling. Oh, going to do a podcast about climate change. I'm going to draw a comic about post-growth economics. As a 32-year-old man, I'm having to accept the fact that I've become the lame Planeteer that everyone used to mock on the playground. Now, as the lame Planeteer, naturally I care about climate change, and I've done the calculations, and personally my biggest contribution to stopping global warming is just the sheer amount of carbon that I've got sequestered in my hair at the moment. You know, I used to be concerned about peak oil, but I think these days I'm more concerned about peak hair. Like, what do I do when this goes on the decline? Like, there's a lot of talk about topsoil depletion, but what about follicle depletion? I care a lot about science, but I'm not a scientist myself. Although I used to date an earth scientist until one day she packed up her ice core samples and left me. Well, I asked her, why are you leaving me? And she gave me, oh, Stuart, you never listened to me. Something like that. I wasn't really paying attention. Now, as an environmentalist, naturally, I reject evidence-based medicine. So don't give me your vaccinations or your fluoridated toothpaste or your stethoscopes. If your treatments don't involve dream catchers, eating herbs, or me putting crystals all over my body, I'm out. Now, even though I am the lame Planeteer and I care about environmental issues, I'm also active on many other fronts. For example, my comrades and I at the moment are out there campaigning for compulsory same-sex marriage. I keep leaving suggestive pamphlets around the house about vegetarianism, hoping that my pet cat will get the hint. I reject the term political correctness gone mad, and I'm trying to replace it with the more inclusive term political correctness gone neuroatypical. Just currently in talks with Andrew Bolt about that one. Now, people, I've become aware of a new threat to our society, one that's up there with ISIS and Al-Qaeda. They're a new group. You might not have heard of them. They're called the patriarchy. Now, from my research, the patriarchy is an extremist splinter group. The patriarchy has a history of environmental destruction. They've got a history of tax avoidance. And, as I've learned through my research, they've also got a yawning lack of gender diversity within their organisation. Yeah. Now, I was recently talking to Senator Cory Bernardi about the threat that operatives from the patriarchy might pose to his way of life. And I was saying, you know, Senator Bernardi, one way that we can combat the patriarchy is actually installing gender quotas. Like, we can put in 30%, 40%, 50%, women in politics, women on boards. And then, you know, whenever you say that, people say, oh, you can't do that, that'll never work. But the thing about gender quotas is they actually do work. We've actually got evidence, even Australian evidence. Like, you may not be aware of this, but the last time we had a gender quota here in Australia, it was actually a 100% quota. 100% men. But, yeah. Now, the thing, even though I am the lame Planeteer and I've only got the power of heart, the good thing about heart is it does make you care about things and it does make you be brave. So recently I decided to be brave and I decided to infiltrate the patriarchy. I did it. I got in there. I infiltrated the patriarchy, but I could only stay for a week. And the reason I had to leave is I was just so sick of being mansplained to. All right, that's it from me. Thank you.